Okay, for the last part of this section, we are going to look at point slope form. And point slope form looks similar to this: y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So you can see that in this example, the slope is 2. And then this is my y value of a point that this line goes through. And this is the x value of a point that the line goes through. So the point would be 8, 3. Notice that this is negative and this is negative, so the point here is x is positive and y is positive, the way that it's written this way. So that's what it would look like. So we're going to go through an example. We'll show you what that does. And then the biggest common error is probably that uh, uh, making sure that we understand that those negatives there means that we have to change the sign so they would become positives, and if they were positives, they would become negatives. And I think the example will give you uh, an idea of how that works. Okay, so point slope form given the slope and 1 point. So if we are given already negative 2 and 6 and a slope of 7. Okay, so here's the point slope form, by the way. M is the slope, x1, y1 is a point. And then if we need to solve for the slope, it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and then x2, y2 is another point. So if we have 2 points on a line, we can figure out the slope. So anyway, this problem says that we have a point. Well, actually, I think that was the other problem. So we're going to skip over that one because we did that one already. So if we have a point negative 2 and 6 with a slope of 7, our equation, I'm going to write the equation next to it, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So here's my x1, here's my y1. So I'm going to just plug them in. Y minus 6, because that's my y1, equals 7 times x minus a negative 2. So that would be y minus 6 equals 7 times x plus 2. When we have a negative 2, that becomes positive. And there's my equation. So it should be minus 6 and minus 2. So it should be minus 6, should be 7, and it should be minus 2 here because these two negatives will convert to a positive. Oops, should be plus 6. And I knew that. We even had it on our piece of paper. Guess you have to be careful when you're typing them in. Of course, we even said that it's 6, negative 2, and 7. So that's what we have on those over there. Okay, so that explains how to do that. We're going to actually do a problem now given 2 points. So we have to figure out what the slope is. So here we have 4 and 14, negative 2 and 38. We don't have the slope, we just have 2 points. But if we have 2 points, we can find the slope. So here are 2 points. So first off, my first question is, which is point 1 and which is point 2? And the answer is, it doesn't matter. So just label them. It's really important, especially on a test. Label them so you don't get confused because the order is going to be important. So m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So if this is point 2 and this is point 1, my y2 value would be 38. And my y1 value would be 14. And my x2 value would be negative 2, and my x1 value would be 4. So 38 minus 14 is 24. Minus 2 minus 4 is negative 6. So that is negative 4. So 24 divided by negative 6 is negative 4. There's my slope. So that's my slope. Now I have a slope and a point. So we write the equation y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And this just says, this is, remember, any line that's on the, any point that's on the line. So we could either use point 1 or we can use point 2. Since these numbers are a little bit smaller, I'm going to use these two. So I'm going to say y minus 14 equals negative 4 times x minus 4. That's one answer. If I were to have used negative 2, we would have y minus 38 equals negative 4 times x plus 2. Okay, because of that negative right there. So these are two possible equations that I could use. And believe it or not, these two equations are actually exactly the same. So if I were to distribute this through, and then combine all my like terms on both sides, I would get the same answer for the y value. So let's take a look. Minus 14, minus 4, minus 4. Minus 14, minus 4, minus 4. There we go. That's 1. Let's take a look at any other equations. So minus 38, minus 40, minus 4, plus 2. Minus 38, minus 4, plus 2. So it's also E. And then are there any other possibilities? Not based on this, because remember the x has to go with the slope. So this is definitely not true. Okay. Oops, I picked the wrong one there. Right, because the 38 goes with the y value. Notice here in this particular case, I'm glad that I caught that. Y minus 38 minus 4 x plus 2. So it's got to be that one there. So let's check our answer. Okay, and then we've got those two potential answers on that one. And I believe that's it. The next thing will be a check for point slope form, which you need to go and do and get that turned in as soon as possible. And that's it for section 2-3.